and welcome. Thank you for making time, and I hope you're having a great day. Just a little reminder for the group tonight that North Los Angeles County's Regional Center Support Group for Self-Determination has a monthly support group, and we meet on the first Wednesday each month. So this week we have our last session for 2023. That will be December 6th. Hopefully that's Wednesday, from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Our session in January will be on January 3rd, which is really close to New Year. So hopefully you'll put it on your calendar now and you'll sign up. And I'm hoping that Kira will add our link for the support group in the chat, because I did not put it on this slide. So Kira, if you have a moment throughout today, if you could add the link to the registration for the support group, that would be great. All right, so the support group is just a supportive place to learn and to ask questions together. And those sessions are never recorded. So just want to make sure you know that. All right, tonight we're really going to be talking about 3 basic things with technology, and they're all generic resources. One of them is about phones. One is about technology like lessons, solving problems, that kind of stuff. And then one is classes in the community close to North LA's area, your catchment, where you can go and learn these things yourself, if that's helpful to you. So I've got those in the slides, and there is a PDF of the slides that you can download. As soon as you see it in the chat, just keep it, use it, share it. So you have the links to everything. Have a great day. There's nothing fancy about them, just hopefully they're helpful to you. I like to take notes on the slides, but you choose to do it any way you want. But hopefully we'll be able to get those slides and that PDF into the meeting chat for you right now. If you are on a phone, you should be able to just touch that PDF and it should save on your phone. And that is one of the things that we're going to be talking about, like where do downloads go in the whole universe of technology. So that's coming up. So the first one we've got today is these generic resource phones. Your regional, you say things like, oh, I really need a new phone, or I need a service for my phone, or I need connectivity for my tablet, and that I want to be able to put that in my self-determination program, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to first explore those generic resources, but here's one of them. airtalkwireless.com is the way to get that Lifeline program, and you can get either a free phone, free service, whatever those pieces are that you need to have access to a phone. Now, maybe you already have a phone and you just want to use your own phone and take it into this program. You can go into these websites, and then you can find out if your phone, if it's unlocked, can be used with their network. Now, when I used to live in another country, I was able to have my phone unlocked by any store, right? In the States, we're a little funny about our phones. And so you're just going to have to figure this part out for your own phone. When you unlock a phone, it makes it possible to move it from place to place. And so that might be something to look into if this program works for you. So I'm going to go back again. Again, that service is AirTalk Wireless, and it's airtalkwireless.com, and then /qualify California. When you download that PDF that's on this page, all of the links here are live. So you can just click right on there if you're looking for a phone service. This is one way to get it. All right, now let's talk about technology skills that might be useful. Okay, so we're going to talk about using DocuSign, how to make a scan of a document. This is different than taking a photograph of a document. How to take a screenshot or use a snip tool. How to save a file in PDF form. And then we've got downloading a file onto your machine, or then finding, that's the worst part, right? You download the file. I did a great job. Now, where is it? So we'll look at how to search for that file on your machine, and then instant translation. I'm just going to tell you, this is not a replacement for amazing interpreters. This is in a pinch. I have a form that I need to understand, and I can translate it from one language into another fairly quickly. All right. Now, I do not use it instead of learning another language. I use it when I need a little like boost of language. All right, let's get going. So to find tech support instructional videos, this is the secret to the universe. Use YouTube. All right. So you're on YouTube, you can go to LinkedIn Learning, you can get 1 month free there. And then there's this other one, Technology for Students and Teachers. These links are live on that PDF. Now, if you're looking for the same things, but you prefer to listen to them in Spanish, Chica Geek was really solid. She had great advice. And Digital Vibes was also Spanish language videos, not just interpreted videos, but actually explaining the technology in Spanish. Now, for those of us who are multilingual or bilingual people, we know that there are technology words that we often code switch, right? It's like, I'm doing this in English, but I'm using Spanish to explain it. This is really important, an important skill to do in multiple languages. If you need both, use them. So I really like this technology for teachers and students. It makes it sound like it's like for school, but not exactly. A lot of the things we have to be able to do for like technology skills are the same things that we have to do for schools. All right. So, oh, and thank you in that chat. When you put those links in the chat, that makes our lives so great. Oh, shoot. I forgot one thing. I want to know, what is your favorite resource? And then I want you to type it into the chat right now. So all of the ones that I'm putting into the chat, as I can see the question from Mariel, are free. The one that is paid is after a month with LinkedIn Learning. That is, you have to pay for that after a month. So, and then chat OpenAI for a translation. I really like DeepL. I'm going to put it here. I love this one, and it works in multiple languages. So when I'm doing things in English and Spanish, and you can change the language. Like if you like, oh, that's not quite what I meant. Now, like anything, it really helps to be very, very bilingual in order to use the sources so you know what you're saying in both languages. So it's not a replacement, again, not a replacement for like solid interpreters, but it can get you through in a pinch. So try those out. LinkedIn Learning is free through community colleges. Nice. And the library system. Elena, thank you so much. That is very helpful. Does anyone else have a good hint for us to throw into the chat? All right, anybody? Okay, if you have ideas or thoughts, please feel free to add them into that chat. They're really helpful to others, and we'll try to keep that list going. All right, now, how many of us, give me a thumbs up if you've had to do this recently. I want to know how many of us have had to use DocuSign since the pandemic. Let's just narrow it down. Does anyone have to use DocuSign for IPPs, IEPs, any kind of thing? You have? Yes, Elena, I see yours. Julio, I see you. Excellent. I think I see Lori. Maybe I've got the wrong, there we go. Excellent. We've got some people who are using it. So my regional center uses a DocuSign or a tool like it to do the official signatures in the self-determination program. Now, those are things like signing your verified budget, your certified budget. These are really important things to know how to do. If you can't create an official signature, you're not moving to the next step. So we use it for official documents like an IPP, a budget. They put them on the spending plans. The financial management service might be using this. And so one of the things that is helpful about this is you can use them on a phone, or you could use them on a computer or any tablet. And that you have to remember, you have to accept that you want to use the program. There's a checkbox usually at the bottom of the page that says, I agree to use this technology. Okay. Now that's basically giving DocuSign permission to let you use it as a signature page. And then you have to either sign or create a signature from your typed name. So when you type your name, it creates like a cursive, Kelly calls it Reyes. And if you sign it yourself, it creates your signature there. So it's a lovely tool. And that's part of the experience of using that DocuSign. That's what it's for. And it's an official signature for an official document. Now we've got this, how to scan for free with your iPhone. Now you can scan free of charge from lots of different things. I'm going to hit mute 1 second because I have a dog who's whining. I'll give you 1 second. Thank you for your patience. My dog wanted to go outside. All right, so we've got the Notes app on the iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you have this right now. Once you're in your iPhone Notes area, and I have the picture of what it looks like here for you, that Notes area, you're going to make sure, there's one thing that you might cry about here. You want to make sure your email's already set up with Notes. Okay, this is an important piece. So what you're going to do is open up the folder, the Notes app, excuse me. Down here, you see where it says, I wrote here, click, and you've got this square with a pencil that's going into it. And I made it bigger here in case your eyes are older, like mine are. So you're going to click on that. Then you're going to see where it says scan documents. You just select that. Then you've got this, you're going to take a picture of, basically take a picture of something, and you're going to hit as if you're taking a picture. Okay. Once you've taken the picture, you have to drag the edges to the sides, and then you can say that you're done, and you click the done button here. What happens if you don't do that? It just looks like a photograph of my funny carpet. No one's going to accept that as a scan. Okay, so make sure that last piece is dragging the edges in so that you can accept it in that way. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if you're good. Awesome. All right, and then if you want to send that same scan, see how it looks like a scan in this picture. It does not look like a photograph of it. It looks like it's been scanned on a machine. There is a rectangle with an arrow in it, and that blue arrow is pointing to that. So that's when your email has to be connected to that rectangular arrow to send it. So you hit that button that has the arrow, and once you've done that, you can email that document to your FMS, to your service coordinator, to your kid's school. If you're a person who's got an IEP still and you have to do like scan something, this is a free way to do the scans in that way. Now, people who use Androids are very good people, and I am not an expert on them because iPhone to me is much easier, but I am biased. I like my iPhone. However, you can still use free apps to do any of these things. So I looked up which ones were most appreciated. The Genius Scan app and the Cam Scanner can both be used both on an iPhone and on an Android. I've used Cam Scanner, the second one here that has CS on it. That one works great. It's just, I didn't want to add another app onto my phone, and I already have a scanning tool on there now. Does anyone else have a scanning app that they prefer? Are there any scans, any ways to scan something that is easier than even these? Okay, so I see one person's mind is blown. Lourdes, I'm so glad. Adobe Scan, another great choice. Thank you, Christine. There are some great options out there. If you have an app you love and you want to share it, go for it. Throw that into the chat and help out a friend. What I like about these is you already have the technology, you already own it. Don't go out and buy something that you already have access to. You know, let's help each other out and show each other where the best things are. Now, I also sometimes have to scan with my printer. Now, some people are using their printer instead. You're going to print, you're going to just click where it says scan on the printer's settings. Then you have to send it somewhere, because if you just save it like it's a photocopy, it won't do anything for you. So what you're going to do next is you're going to either save it on a real flash drive, or you have your printers connected to your email again, because you have to send it to a place. So if you can send it to your own email, that's an option. It is a headache to scan with a printer, but you know, we have to use the technology that we have. So if that's the technology you have, what you're going to do is you're going to go to YouTube, because that is the answer for all questions in the universe. And you're going to take your printer, you know, type it in, how do you scan with my printer, whatever it is. And then where does it go? Finding out where you send that scan is very important if you want to send it somewhere else. Oh, Maria, thank you. That's a great, oh yes, that's the same one. The Cam Scanner PDF Scanner app. It's the same one I had the picture of. Good. I'm glad that you liked it too. I like it a lot. I mean, I like being able to use the technology I already own to do things I need to do every day. So when I don't know how to do something, I go to YouTube and I type in a couple of words and I see if someone else can tell me how to do it, because I think that's really helpful. All right. Now, taking a screenshot. This is very, very, very important. There are easy ways to take screenshots that are very clear, okay? You can do, like if you're on a Mac, you can do the command button plus the space bar to search for it. Type in, I don't know if you're not gonna see it if I do it on the screen because it's not shared, but the command plus the space bar, type in the search, like a screenshot. There's a free screenshot tool on your Mac if you have one. There's also a free screenshot tool on your PC or your Chromebook or anything. They're all there, okay? So you have to like learn how to search on the technology you have. If you're gonna do a screenshot on your phone, what you can do is like you have your phone here, right? And then you have to learn how to just take a picture of what's on your screen. That's different than taking a picture, because that gets blurry. I mean, most of us have been told, oh, your copy is very blurry. Can you resend it? Right? None of us have time to do this again. I just want to know how to do it correctly the first time. So the snipping tool is a great way to do that. That's the word you want to do or to use to do this on a PC. And if you look here, you've got snipping tool to capture screenshots. And you go to the Microsoft web page to get that snipping tool and capture it, okay? So you press the Windows logo key plus Shift plus S to start a snip. And then I assume it'll be a drag and drop thing where you like hold it and make it picture of that place, okay? All right, so saving a file as a PDF. All right, let me keep going. So I make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm doing and not the chat. All right, so to save a file as a PDF from a Word or a Pages document, what you're looking for on your page is this file format area. So you click on Save As, right? And then you go down to where the file is. You've got the name of the file, and then below that, it should say File Format. If it's a Word document, it says Word, or it says .docx. Okay. Or if it's pages, you save as, and it'll say .pages for pages. Now, if you want to change that, you click on where the arrow is on the side, and then you just select PDF instead. The reason you want a PDF of a document is they're a lot harder to break open and have someone change the information on them. You can go into a PDF, it'll be all in the same format, all with the same information. You send it in that format, and then they have it as a PDF. That means the other party cannot edit your document. So if you want them to edit the document, don't do this. If your document is done and you don't want someone to either accidentally or accidentally on purpose change information, then what you want to do is save as a PDF. Can somebody open a PDF and change things? Yes, they can. But it's a lot of, it's more work. So most people aren't going to work that hard. They will just send you a note and say, oh, could you send me this in a different format? And that's the key. Format in this case is PDF. It's a portable document file, and it's just a picture of the document from earlier. All right, so the same technique is used whether it's a document or a PowerPoint presentation. They all have something like this where you can select the file format in the same way. So you've got your title of the file, the name of the file, and then below it, it's going to say file format, and you just select that instead. And then where you save it, you got to pay attention. Where is it going? That'll be below there as well. It'll say documents. It'll be going to your downloads or your folder of your choice. Those are all different locations where that new PDF could be saved. I try to remember where I put it, and then if I lose it, I do a search on my computer, because that search button is really important. All right, same if you're going to use a file in Google Docs and save it as a PDF. Now, this one is in Spanish, but no big deal. You can do it in English. It's fine. You've got descargar right here. That just means download. Download as a document in the PDF format. Perfect. So that's just a document if you want it from the Google Docs to go into PDF. It's a great way to save it onto your machine so that you have a copy of what you did. You can also save it in those other formats depending on what your computer or tablet has access to. Okay, so you're just going to click where it says File. That's Archivo. Click on File. Scroll down to where it says Download As or Download, and then it goes into the different file types. So this is just another example. If you have one for PowerPoint, you're going to do the same thing. So we've got the format, the file format type, and then different locations for it will be there. Now where it says ubicación over here, that's just the location of the file. You're going to click on that arrow and put it where you want it. Okay. And then you're just going to click on your save right there. Now, let's say you want to share a document. Okay. If you want to share it, like you can do iPhone to iPhone with an AirDrop, or iPhone to to a Mac with the AirDrop feature. That is one way to share a document. If that's only going to work with Mac products. If you want to share in some other way, these are the little icons that you're looking for. You click on them and then you send it to the place you want it to go. So this little Pac-Man, and I'm probably aging myself here. Pac-Man is a game. There's a little thing that goes arc, 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 arc. That's Pac-Man-y. And that's what it looks like to me. It's 3 dots that look like most of a triangle. The Android Pac-Man right here, that's the icon that they use. And in an iPhone, I have this rectangle with an arrow pointing. I guess I'm going to share it up that way. You just click on that, And then you tell the technology where you want it sent. It could be a text. It could be an email. It could be, well, that's usually where I send things. Maybe you have a better place to send things, but these are the different kinds of icons you're going to see with that. Okay. All right. Now, if I'm looking for something that I thought was really important and I wanted to download, I'm going to look for it in the downloads area. So that basically means that if I know, like on your PC, on your phone, on your Mac, whatever technology you have, you need to know what you're looking for. So let's say you download something from an email. You click on the attachment and it downloads onto your email. Then you're going to look for it in the downloads area, and you're just going to say, okay, it's probably going to be in time order, right? Chronological order. The most recent thing will be at the top. Hopefully you find it right there. Now, if you change where you put your downloaded documents, they're going to go to whatever those places are. Maybe you have it automatically save onto your desktop. Maybe you have it saved in, maybe it's a document and you want to put it somewhere else. You can drag it to that place, but you need to know where to find it first. I'm sure I'm the only person who's ever lost a downloaded document from the internet. The rest of you are very organized and good at this, but I struggle sometimes. So one of the things that I hear of challenge often is people, even my students, my college students will say, I'll say, what web browser are you using? And they'll tell me, I'm using my phone. Okay. Which web browser are you using? Browser just means what's the name of the software, the app or the software on your computer that you're using to get around the internet. Okay. So the browser for me usually is Firefox or Chrome, because they almost always work correctly across platforms. If it's any kind of computer, it doesn't matter. You just have to make sure that you have the most recent edition or like it's up to date. However, if you're using the other browsers, they might work really well for some things, but not everything. Okay. So that is a concern. But the URL tells me where in the browser, like where the browser should take me. So you've got these two things, the browser, hopefully you're using Chrome or Firefox, because a lot of the regional center system things run on those two. Okay. And then the URL, Firefox is still alive. Oh my gosh. Firefox is alive and kicking. They might have called it something else now. Mozilla, is it Mozilla? Same thing. Those you have to just download from the internet. Those, both of them work very well with, let's say you're a community college student and you have to use Canvas for your learner management system. That's the kind of thing that you do there. But a lot of the other ones are not, they can't use them, like Safari. It's great if you're just browsing the internet, but it might not work for a lot of other things. Like it just disappears. The information disappears within the browser. And that URL is that address you want to visit. You know how there's that bar at the top? It's like where you type in www. Whatever the information is, .com, that's your URL bar. And you want to type in what you are trying to find there. Now, there are some other like less common browsers that might be on an older computer. You might have Internet Explorer still. That one I think has gone away. Microsoft Edge is out there. I think that comes on a new PC now, but there are a lot of people who are trying to like get by with the computer they've had for some time. And I can tell you that my experience with both Safari and Internet Explorer is not very good. It's really helpful to have a newer browser, and it's updated on whatever your technology is. Now, these can also be apps on your phone. I have Chrome as an app on my phone. so that I can go into that and then use Chrome instead of trying to just use, like my phone has Safari. I don't use that on my, even with my iPhone, I don't bother with that one. If your computer does not have Chrome, you can go to the Chrome website and download it for your machine. Your computer is so smart. It's going to tell you which version you want. I don't know what version I want. I just read the page and I do this a lot. I cross my fingers, friends. And I use the app for Chrome on my phone as well, because I use it a lot. Hopefully that will help one person at least here today. All right, so if once you're downloading information from the internet somewhere, right? Let's say I'm here on Firefox, I'm on AirTalk Wireless. If I download a form, it's going to end up right over here. Let's see if I can get a little, oh, I don't see it now. I don't have my little markers here. It must be a different setting. So see how there's an arrow pointing down and there's like a little bar? That's where my downloads go on Firefox. And if I'm on Chrome, the vertical ellipses, those 3 dots, that's where they go. If we click on that, it'll go into the downloads area in there. So if you're looking for something that you downloaded, look in those onto the web browser, look in those places first. Once you open them, you can save them in another place. But for this, for purposes of what we're looking at right now, that's where they go. So there are other ones you could use. You could use, besides Chrome and Firefox, you can use Edge. Opera, I have no experience with. I think it's fairly new. You can use Safari. And Internet Explorer is the one for me that has broken the most often. I wouldn't recommend it, but use what you need to use. All right. So now let's say you're just looking for something on your machine. Like you don't want to have to ask your kids again to help you find it. There are a couple of ways to search for files. Now, if you are using Windows 11 or Windows 10, you're just going to type in this. Oh, so this picture here where it says type to search, hopefully you can see that. The type to search bar, you just type in the parts of the file's name that you're looking for. Now, what's really cool is if you type in words that are from like inside of the document, it won't find it as quickly probably, but it'll still find it. So like, I don't remember what it's called, or maybe it's called Untitled Document 58, because you have 58 untitled documents. You forgot to give them names. And then you go in and type in whatever it was about. So the first thing we should all have for this is good habits on naming our files. And then the second thing is, if we forget, we just type in as much from the file as we can remember, and hopefully it will find it for us. Okay, let's see here. All right. Okie dokie, let's see here. All right, so were there any, let me go back one spot because this is the last area. Were there any questions about any of the pieces that we've looked at so far? Let me open it up for questions. All right. I don't see any questions. That's okay. I'm going to stop my share for just a minute so I can see all your beautiful faces and names. And then I'm going to check and see if there are any questions. Let me get this up here. There we go. Okay, and everybody has access to the slides, I believe. There they are. They're for you. Okay, so no questions. We're good? All right, I'm going to share again. And I'm going to show you where to find your next pieces. Okay. All right, so when we have needs within both the self-determination program for our own learning, And we have interests in finding classes where we could learn more, get in-person instruction or online instruction. You can always visit. There are two really great resources in your local area. So I have the College of the Canyons non-credit classes for local community colleges. And it doesn't have to be like a lot of people think, oh, it's non-credit, it's just ESL. It's not just that. They have computing and internet fundamentals. Maybe you just want to go and learn about how to do that piece. It's 20-hour class. It might be in person. It might be online. Look and see what they have. If you're in the other part of the catchment, maybe you're going to go to, let's see here. There are other options for community colleges. You can go to Pierce College. You can go to Mission College. Like there are not Mission. There's lots of options here. Hold on, let me get this back over here and see that. There are, I know, College of the Canyons has lots of really cool options. Whoops. So it's really important to consider that as a resource. As your friendly community college professor here, I want to make sure you're utilizing your community's resources. Now, we have this in the North LA's catchment, but we have 116 community colleges in our state. There are resources out there. So there are like job training things. There are all kinds of interesting opportunities connected to your non-credit options or credit options at your local community college. That's something to consider when you're looking at growing your skills. Maybe you want to be able to do your own spending plan and you just want to learn how to use a spreadsheet better so you can do it. Take a spreadsheet class. Another place where you can learn more about technology or other questions is at your adult schools. For example, in the Santa Clarita Valley Adult School, Golden Oak Adult School registration open today. They have classes available starting soon, and they have the website those are all linked right here for you. So these are ways to start like learning, what's out there. What kinds of skills are we lacking? And there you go, occupational centers. Those are great opportunities. You can do, maybe you can add the classes that are in these different places to your own self-determination planning. Maybe that's something you want to be able to do next. So I am going to stop my share. And I'd like everybody to write into the chat, if you can, one thing that's kind of hard or you're struggling with technology, to see if we've got it. Let's see it. Free non-credit classes about social media online from my local community college. Kira, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of these pieces are in our self-determination program plans, right? Like, where am I going to go learn about X, Y, or Z? Maybe your local community college. So let's see here. Who has a question that they're going to include? Let me see. Storage. Bridget, can you tell me more about what you mean with storage? What kind of question about storage do you have? You want to unmute yourself? Can you, or Kira, can you help Bridget unmute, please? Hold on one second.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hi. I'm at a store. Well, but I was thinking, cause space, I have issues because some of the things they send me be large, and I can't. I don't have no space to save anything, so I have to delete stuff that I really want to keep. So how do I avoid deleting?
Well, one thing we can do is grab online storage. That's one way to do it. Like a Dropbox account, and then save it there, but then eventually you run out of that space too. It's a good question. And it kind of depends what technology you're using to save it. So it could be that it's like a cloud technology that you want to save it in a Dropbox, a Google Drive. Google Drive is free. Dropbox for the first, I don't remember how much, that's free. I filled up mine already, and I'm always in danger of going over. So I understand your concern, but that's the USB memory card is another way to do it, but it depends on what technology you have before you try to make those kinds of plans. So creating an email. Okay, I see. Hopefully that helped a little bit, Bridget. Thank you for that great question. So I see Christine has a question about clients who have a hard time creating an email, sending an email, and attaching an email. So those are all really important, but I suspect that has to assume that they already have an email account. Christine, is that accurate that they have an email account? All right, just to make sure. Because I think that if you don't have an email account, I would first probably create a Gmail account, because then it comes with your Google Docs and you have all those other pieces, right?
Yeah, what I've seen is some of the clients have had an email account, but it's like 10 years old. So they have something at yahoo.com that has 20,000 emails and with everything, you know. And so what I tell them is, okay, let's create a new account just for your self-determination. Kind of has to be hand over hand, and very difficult, you know, to be with the person, you know, in person and try to teach that. And so that's what I see that we're having an issue with, creating from the very basics of creating an email, sending an email, attaching a file. Those are a little bit more basic things that I have encountered with some of the clients.
Yeah, I've helped a lot of people learn how to do those parts. And I'm not sure if it's fair or not, but I kind of assumed if you're going to join a Zoom meeting, you probably know how to like click on the links. So that might be something that's like for if you go through the different especially, I don't know if we're talking about English speakers or Spanish speakers, but the Chica or the Geek Chica or Chica Geek YouTube page had some really great basic things to help people get started. And having the settings in our preferred language is really, really helpful. So then at least you're trying to, like, you're creating a file or creating an email. And it's nice when you create a pen pal. So I used to teach ESL all the time, and I would teach students how to use technology during my class. And what I did was I would have them they'd be my pen pal. So we just practice a couple of times. And after about 3 or 4 sends, it works out really well. Then I'd make the next thing, like, you're going to type me a story. And then I'd have them attach the file. And then I would attach a file and they'd have to download it. Finding a buddy with whom you can practice these skills, it really helps, because then it's no pressure. There's no fear that you're going to screw it up or something bad's going to happen. But it's nice to just get that that little practice time with a low stress situation. So anybody if you've got a couple of clients struggling, you could maybe buddy them up and get them going so that they can be helpful to each other in that way. All right, we've got with PDF, it's hard to pay. So no, PDFs actually are not, we're not talking about PDFs that are charged like like an Acrobat reader. We're just talking about saving a file in a PDF format so that you can open it anywhere. So that is one of the benefits of the PDF format, is you can open it on any kind of technology. It does not cost anything. None of the things in this presentation cost any money. Okay. Now the classes at some of those places, non-credit classes, are free, but you might have to pay for materials. And the adult school classes might have a charge on them, but the technology things are all free of charge. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, I'm sure, but there's editing a PDF is a pain, which is why you want to make sure that if that's the part that's going to cost you something. All right. Maybe that's what you're referring to, Yoshika, because that when you want to change something on a PDF, you have to have the software to do that. And, but it's also makes it so that nobody can change it on you unless they have that software, right? So there are benefits. Everything is a risk benefit analysis. That many times, if you're trying to send in a spending plan and you don't send it in PDF format, it doesn't fit on a page, or it doesn't look right, or it looks like it's 80 pages long instead of 4, because of the way that the screen looks. So there are some benefits to knowing how to change it to PDF. And then, excuse me, your service coordinator may ask for things like that, right? They might say, I need you to put this into X, Y, or Z format. And then you might not respond because you don't know what that format is. If you go in and you just do a little search on that, what that format is, like, I need this in PDF format, all you have to do is like change the file format at that point. And that can be very helpful. Let's see here. I'm trying to play to translation, like web page. No, like the tool for translation. That's true. Chrome does have a translation for the web page. I'm just reading from 516. There's a note there that's talking about how the tools can translate pages now, and you can change the page to your preferred language fairly easily. It's pretty great. And I appreciate, Bill, your response there as well. It's the reader that's free. We don't need to pay extra to be able to read a PDF. All right. Those were some really great questions. Are there any other things that you might need to know how to do in technology that you're not familiar with yet? Wow, a quiet group. I guess you know all the things. That's great. So, okay, Sophia, did you have a question? No, okay. All right, friends. So if you have a question, I'd like to invite you to put it into the chat. And if you don't have, or if just raise your hand, that would be great as well. And if not, I mean, some of the pieces that are, I think, for the technology that are really important is just to know what you're actually asking, right? If your clients or you yourself are having trouble with an email, making sure you know how to use that paperclip. Look for the paperclip. It's going to be where you attach the file. Like the most of the icons are pretty logical, right? Let's see. Any questions? Oh, Kira, thank you for that note, the 520 timestamp note. I appreciate that. Okay, well, I'm going to check in one more place to see if I missed any. Can you send an Excel file and lock it so the person receiving it cannot change the file? I believe you can, Christine. I've never actually done that. I always save it as a PDF because the next one's going to come back to me. And I know that they're going to be able to open the PDF and the Excel file. I screw them up more often than I fix them by locking things or making them encoded, because you can say you need to have permission to open a certain file, or you need a passcode. And I find that the more barriers we have within files, the easier it is to mess them up. And so the PDF is the easiest way to send something that cannot be changed for me. Mm-hmm. So there's a question about what is Digital Vibes. Thank you, Kira. Digital Vibes is just an online YouTube channel. Let me see if I can show you a couple of these so that you can get an idea of what those websites might look like. Here we go. Here we go.
La marca Realme continúa sorprendiéndonos.
He is so talkative. So I'm just going to show you what this guy looks like, because we're talking. So you can see I'm on Firefox, and I've got this gentleman. You can just subscribe to this channel, and you have he does video like things about reviews of different technologies. But if you go back far enough, like when people started making these channels, they just, let's see here. Chica Geek tutorials. When they started, those early ones, they were mostly like the easier stuff, right? And if you wanted to be able to make your own website, that's very easy, or you want to use WhatsApp because you want to be able to call people in other countries without having to use minutes, or whatever it is, or it's cheaper. I use WhatsApp to call my friends overseas. Those kinds of technologies can be very, very useful and really make things easier. I assume many of us actually use WhatsApp because I bet a lot of us call internationally, and that's an important piece of technology for that. So you've got Digital Vibes, and you've got Chica Geek tutorials, and you've got the teacher and student tutorial, like technology tutorials. Knowing which ones are helpful is really great, but if you know what you're looking for, that's even more important. So let's say you want to learn just how to attach a file. It's the same technology to attach a file in an email, it could be in any place. It's the same icon. Like, look for that same icon and then make sure you click it. All right, let's see here. Oh, that's true. And then the being able to record it, then you're the training is being recorded, so it will be edited and processed for you guys to watch later. All right. Oh, well, my friend Nina's here. Nina, do you have a question for us? I see your hand is up.
No, I have a question.
Okay, am I muted or are you muted? Hold on. There we go. Try again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
You.
Well, okay, you may have covered this and I spaced, or it's just so lame it's beyond even coming up with this thing. But let's say, just a crazy hypothetical, you're trying to unearth a document that maybe the regional center, can't find either, and it's very crucial. And oh my God, and it may have been a couple of years ago, not totally sure of the time frame, not sure where on your MacBook this little thing may be. It could have started out life in so many different ways, right? What is the easiest, like, search my Mac thing, like all over the place, like it's just going to the search and finder. But what if I didn't do that? What if it's just dangling as an attachment on an email somewhere? Anyway, what's the most comprehensive search of your device?
That's a great question. And the technology is actually the same, whether or not it's a MacBook, right? Like the search is usually going to be where your magnifying glass is. And then let's say maybe you're searching for an IPP from some years ago. Could be that. Imagine that. Could be. So then I would type in, like, if I had a guess about the year, I would type in the year. Maybe it's from 2019, right? So then it would just find where there's a file that has IPP in it somewhere and the year on it somewhere. It may not be in the title. That's really important because it's searching through everything. I would try something like that, because when you are searching for, and like maybe the person's name that's in it, or maybe like
your kid's name, for instance.
Good. See, you can see spending plan activity here for Amelia. That's my kid's name. So I could look in that area and see if I find it in that. You can also search, like the name contains here, right? You can search by file type. You can search by, like, if it's a PDF, you can search by that. If it's some other one, you could search like whatever those different file types are. Does that help at all, Nina?
It does. It really does, because I was thinking, that I heard you mention before, you don't have to know the actual name, what
which is key.
I cannot seem to keep to a steady right. I change my modes all the time, which I hate about myself, but I do it. So, okay, that's good. So just your guess at something that would be in the document, some term.
If you can narrow, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. If you know what year it might have been, the year helps because that tells the computer like to look for that number, right? And that'll narrow it down quite a bit. Now, there are other questions about preferences between cloud-based services like Dropbox, OneDrive, Evernote. There's so many. And I think that mostly preferences are just those, right? I use Dropbox, Google Drive. What else? I stopped using Evernote, but not because I didn't like it, but I just kind of like some things you just stop using. And I use OneDrive at work when I'm teaching at work, and I don't like it, but I think it just reminds me of having to be at work. So it might not be anything about OneDrive. It might just be where I'm using it. But I've used quite a few of those, and I am apparently really cheap, and I love generic resources, and I don't want to pay a monthly subscription to another thing. So I don't pay for any of them. I just use them as the free part, which is probably a problem, right? For me, because they're probably now in Dropbox or in Google Drive or in wherever, and I'm just too cheap. So I'm working on it. It gets expensive too. All right, Lori Walker, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Technically not very savvy. So my question is, I have a ton of files. So I just did the search you said. And when I click on it, it comes up with this foreign language on it. Like I picked the wrong language to open it. And I don't know how I did that.
So my guess is what happened there is that you opened it, but didn't have the software to open that file type. And when I do that, it's like you were supposed to choose whatever software it was so that it would open it for you properly. And I don't know how to fix that. Oh, I just know that I don't like it when I do it. I've had it happen to me as well.
Okay.
Usually it's a file that I don't like. If I'm on a Mac, for example, and it's a file type that's only in a PC, that I try to open it and it comes up like gobbledygook. And I don't know if that's exactly what you got.
It is.
It is. Okay. You have to back yourself out and then reopen it using that other file type, but I can't, without seeing what you're looking at, I can't tell you what that file type is. Does that make sense?
It does. But what it does is it opens up saying file conversion on this scan. Select the encoding that makes your document readable. Yeah. And it says Windows default is the one that's listed. And so it still doesn't open. It's boxes and it's weird stuff. And then if I go to other encoding, like to try to change something, I've got things like Unicode and Western and Portuguese and Korean. And I'm like, okay, no, I don't think so. Yeah. And then I did find one that seemed like it might be doable. It said auto select. So I clicked on that and I hit okay. And I still get gobbledygook.
So I have no solution for you at all. I do know I've done that, and I just give up and move on with life.
Do you delete the document? I have no idea.
Sure do. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what these documents are, and I've got dozens. So it's
okay. Yeah, that's what my solution is. I get rid of the problem.
Okay. And also another question, what is your suggestion for learning how to Zoom, and what program would be best for you? I mean, the paid one or the free one, and where do we go?
Oh, free one.
Yeah, but it's only 45 minutes, got limitations.
It does. And if you need to be hosting Zoom meetings often, then I would say you probably want to pay for one.
Yes.
I pay for one because that's worth it to me. I'm not that cheap. So I have, like, I think it's a 40-minute limit on the free version, but if you're just attending Zoom meetings, you don't need to own Zoom.
Right. Right.
What you need to make sure you can do is say hello to Simon. Hello. Okay. And then after you're done saying hello to Simon, you click on the link, and then it pops up on your screen and you can go into Zoom that way, right? So that's really the piece that it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to have meetings, you can use Zoom. If you want to use Google Teams, you can, or is it Google Teams or Microsoft Teams? Sorry, Microsoft Teams. There are other ways to do that are really great. Hold on. Okay, so there we go. That's one of the pieces that's most important there, though.
Okay, and that I've gotten to. It's just now the specifics, and even the tutorials that I get on YouTube, theirs doesn't look like my screen.
I like the Zoom tutorials within the Zoom framework. So if you go to zoom.us, because I think that's theirs, not zoom.com, zoom.us, they do a really good job on their site explaining their product.
Okay.
And if you want to not use, I mean, you can also use other programs. Like I'm starting to use Microsoft Teams at work a lot more. I like it just fine. They all have similar functionality. The captioning on Microsoft Teams was excellent. I just used it a couple of days ago. Excellent. Real-time captioning. So if you have a person on your team or in your meeting who needs that captioning, it's easy to have on. It's very accurate. I was a little shocked and a little saddened that the world may not need those people to do that anymore, because the computer could do it all by themselves. But Lori, those are great questions. I'm so glad you tonight. Thank you. Let me look at the chat for a second. I see that Kathy has a question. Is there a way for the recipient of a DocuSign document to add some language to the document before signing it? Not that I know of, my friend Kathy. Not that I know of. If you learn how to do that, you send it to me, because I'm pretty sure every time I've had an error on a DocuSign document, I've had to send it back and they've had to make a correction and it had to be regenerated. Start from scratch. So release of information document. Nope. It does. I do not think that there is a way to do that. I think you have to redo the whole document, actually. Sorry. The DocuSign webpage may have that answer. And if there is a workaround, please share. We'd love to hear it. All right, friends. Any other questions right there? You've got some great questions. I'm so glad. Okay. Oh, software or apps for timesheets or tracking hours? Tracking hours. Okay. So, there was also a question about the generating the invoice. Okay. So I've got two questions. One is about timesheets and tracking hours, and I need more information about that question. So what I want to know is, are you not using the apps that assuming this is an FMS kind of question, does the FMS not have that? Or so more information for that. I can answer the second question, which was earlier. Do I recommend any program to generate an invoice? I use the free stuff. I use Excel or I use Google Sheets. They both have templates that add beautifully and they are easy to use. And I just save as or download as a PDF when I send them somewhere to submit them. It's one of those times when you don't want someone messing with your numbers. You want it to be in the same numbers that you sent are going to whoever's paying you, because the numbers have to match. So I would definitely consider those free resources. Well, if you are going to send a ton of invoices and a ton of other things, maybe you want to get a program that does that. I'm fine with making them each month. That makes me pay attention to my hours better. And just for the other question, for tracking timesheets and tracking hours, I use Excel. I just put the numbers in, like what time somebody's coming and what time they leave, or what time I start and what time I'm done. And I keep track of my hours so that I don't forget when I was working. How to make everything HIPAA compliant as an IF. Well, that is a whole nother question for a day that we could do a whole session on. But if you're talking about the safety protocols for the HIPAA compliance on your own computer, that's above and beyond this one. Can we do a session? Ask your local advisory committee. I think it's probably a roundtable IF discussion. It's a great idea. Roundtable one with the regional center, because they probably have the best, most up-to-date information about those as well. Absolutely great questions. And hopefully Lori saw that, like getting a HIPAA compliant, one of the sessions coming up in the future. I see her thumbs up there. That's great. Thank you, Miriam. I'm glad you asked. All right, friends. Any other questions before we end today? Okay. I am going to assume that means you know everything in the whole world that I put. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Lori. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We're ending a little early. Maybe we can all have dinner. Won't it be great? Oh, thank you, Bridget. You're so sweet. Oh, have wonderful holiday season, everybody. Enjoy. We will see you. Oh, wait, I will see you this Wednesday at our support group. If you're there, I will say hi to you then. Otherwise, we'll see you for support group. Oh, and Lori wants to say something before we end, but the next one after this Wednesday will be January 3rd. Lori, please go ahead.
Is there an LVAAC collaborative tomorrow night?
An LVAAC collaborative tomorrow night? Oh, I think there is.
Just verifying for anybody who is a member of an LVAAC.
Yes, I just got an email about that today, but that's a slightly different.
Yes, it is.
So North LA support group is Wednesday. Oh, the link is there for you. If you've never joined us, feel free to register there. Remember, we don't record those sessions. It's just an honest place to share and get brainstorming under control. And we're happy to have you join us. And then the LVAAC question, Lori, let me send you a note later so that I can double check, but I think we did get a note about it. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your December if I don't see you Wednesday, and goodbye.